This is Cybert signing into Command & Conquer Remastered for a little GDI versus Nod action in the north, playing as the blue. This is UncleDJ. He's playing Nod. Meanwhile, in the south as the GDI, this is CriticalMeds. The map is Heavy Metal, and today we have 3 remastered matches. Every single one is going to be GDI versus Nod, and, well, this one is UncleDJ versus CriticalMeds. The other 2 are 2 other players. So a little bit of variety in terms of the player pool, and every single one is on a different map as well. A couple of Grenadiers coming out here from CriticalMeds right at the beginning. Normal-ish looking scouting patterns from both players, and it's going to be helipad first for UncleDJ. I feel like this is something that I don't play a lot of Tiberian Dawn Remastered. This is something that we started to see a little while ago. I feel like it was much more War Factory first when the game first came out, and maybe this was just as common and I just didn't happen to see it as much. But this opening attack helicopter from Nod is something that you do see a bit more, sometimes just for sniping infantry and scouting, and then sometimes a little bit of harvester harassment or trying to attack a building. Flame Trooper's going to be able to clean up a couple of Grenadiers around the map as well. One Grenadier did manage to sneak by. CriticalMeds gets a sneaky scout in there. Goes double barracks, going to delay the War Factory, which as far as I remember is pretty standard for GDI. And still no airstrip from Nod, but we're up to 3 refineries from Nod, 4 refineries from GDI. Big wave of Grenadiers. Flamer and a Grenadier are going to be passing each other on the east side of the map. And the attack helicopter going to continue its rounds of cleaning everything up. Nice cleanup there, and 2 more Grenadiers are sneaking in. So this attack helicopter has its work cut out for it for sure. CriticalMeds, he's getting close to this airstrip. Double buggy is already out. Refinery gets added on as well. Airstrip gets a little more production, and UncleDJ should be able to push away these Grenadiers without too much trouble. Now that he's got the airstrip out, now that he's got the buggy production rolling, he should be fine. War Factory is out for CriticalMeds. Only 1 War Factory thus far, and no guard towers yet to be seen. Grenadiers still trying to sneak through. I feel like this is a really good way for CriticalMeds to keep UncleDJ on his side of the map. Couple of bikes are now out, at least 1 bike, maybe another bike getting added on. Buggies swing around to the right side and going to be able to defeat that. All right, there we go. 2 bikes out on the field. Grenadier's going to get gunned down. A little bit of splash damage there, and the refinery will maybe be the next target. Okay, yeah, he's going to try and jump on the refinery. If he can shut down this refinery, that might be enough to slow the eco. Refinery will be fine. Enough tanks and Grenadiers here to push back these buggies, at least for now. No second attack coming in from UncleDJ, so he wasn't trying to pair this with the attack bikes somewhere else on the map. I thought maybe he was going to try and sneak through, hit some harvesters in the south or something. Attack helicopter comes back through. Additional power plant gets added on, and the buggies are going to get pushed away. Additional barracks coming up. Double refinery in the north. So this is like 3 fields worth of harvesting for CriticalMeds. He is pretty well set up for the mid to late game. Bike's going to be getting through, targeting down 1 harvester. Meanwhile, Grenadiers going for the kill on the left side of the map. Rifleman is here, but a Flamer is going to step on out, and that's the defense for UncleDJ. 1 harvester about to get eliminated. All right, Grenadiers are here in good numbers, but they do not land the hits on those bikes. Tanks are here as well. A couple of buggies in the north. Tank and Grenadiers already waiting. CriticalMeds playing this one out pretty well defensively. Only lost 1 harvester. Bikes in the north. Tank goes down. Attack helicopter going to be the follow-up. And this might open up an opportunity to attack elsewhere as well. UncleDJ has spread out pretty well to a couple of different fields. Both players spreading out nice and thin. Bikes coming in. Attack helicopter in the middle. Going to try and thin out the number of Grenadiers. A couple of buggies here, but it's mostly bikes on the front for UncleDJ. A couple of bikes in the south. Another refinery comes up to 2 war factories. I don't know, 3 or 4 barracks for CriticalMeds. Bike's going to be able to target down 1 tank. Grenadiers are here. They're not totally landing their shots. Tank will go down. 2 additional tanks. No, barely he does survive. UncleDJ does not commit to the kill. CriticalMeds getting away from that one. Attack helicopter moving back in. Bike's going to cycle around to the middle of the map. They might be able to grab another harvester. They might commit. No, they're going to go for the refinery instead. Big surround on the refinery coming from the north, coming from the west as well. The tank's not in the position to stop this. 1 harvester or 1 refinery down. And, I mean, these other 2 refineries are pretty close, but cutting off 1 refinery might open up an opportunity to cut off another refinery. Swinging through with a couple of bikes. All attack from UncleDJ, all defense from CriticalMeds. Well, if he takes down both of these refineries in the south, these were like the original refineries from the beginning of the game. They're going to get targeted down. Tank's a little bit too slow. If CriticalMeds crosses the map, he might be able to do some real damage to UncleDJ, but in this particular moment, he's just trying to defend and defending somewhat sloppily. These tanks are not in the right positions at the right time, but I feel like CriticalMeds has enough units to just step across the map and do some real damage to UncleDJ. At the very least, he might be forcing a base race, which would be better than defending against these attack bikes, but not doing it well enough. 1 tank going to get targeted down. Second tank getting targeted, but not enough attack bikes to kill it off quickly. Helicopter comes back in, going to try and clean up some of these Grenadiers. Good focus fire, and then the Grenadiers could really thin out the herd. Decent number of attack bikes in the north. UncleDJ gonna posture. He's got a decent number of reinforcements coming in to defend both locations. CriticalMeds attacking in 2 spots, but is he actually going to be able to get the damage done? If he just stands and fights the army, he may not actually be able to shut anything down. It's double airstrip. 1 airstrip about to get targeted down. Refineries could be targeted next. Meanwhile, in the north, the army is just standing by waiting, not yet moving in. Now it's going to move in, starting to start the fight up in the north, as these attack bikes and these buggies are not all engaging at the same time. Grenadiers going to step on forward. Most of them get cleaned up by the Flamers, and that is not enough tanks, apparently. He does just stand and fight the bikes for a moment, but these tanks, they're just slowly getting whittled away. Meanwhile, the counterattack comes in. UncleDJ at 2 different spots, trying to cut down on the refineries in the north and in the south. It's going to be a power plant in the north. Gets the power plant, and can progress beyond that if he wishes. Going to target down the war factories. No more tank production for CriticalMeds. Meanwhile, CriticalMeds taking the opportunity to start a bit of a base race. Going to be targeting down the refineries on the left side. Should go for the refineries. Slowing down a little bit here. He's got a real opportunity to just cut off the production of UncleDJ and maybe even force UncleDJ to head home. Infantry getting cleaned up. UncleDJ with enough bikes to just overwhelm everything that CriticalMeds had, and UncleDJ is going to come back home. CriticalMeds, who was slowly falling apart, has now not been able to do very much damage. He did some, but he did damage in the middle after it was maybe a little bit less relevant. Unfortunately for CriticalMeds, he might have... Well, actually, he might have another opportunity here. He can punch through. He can at least try. 1 flame tank is here. 2 flame tanks now here. A whole bunch of bikes as well. Going to be forcing the sell-off of the airstrip. But this is pretty much it for CriticalMeds. He is out of money, and he is about to be out of tanks as well. Too many bikes, and the flame tanks weren't even used. I'm not sure why the flame tanks are sitting here. They could be cycling around somewhere else on the map. The tanks do actually survive the fight, selling off a couple of buildings. Refineries in the north, maybe not the most important refineries, but it's cutting down on the units. Okay, the airstrip is rebuilt in the north. Looks like he maybe only rebuilt 1 airstrip. Attack helicopter going to be coming in. Flame Tech might be going for the infantry. Yeah, goes for the infantry, cleans up a big clump. And the production, oh, he actually did have 1 war factory that survived. I think UncleDJ is still going to be able to take this, but CriticalMeds has survived a little bit longer than I would have thought. selling off a bunch of buildings. He's going to have some cash. He sells off his war factory, and I'm guessing that's going to be the GG. It was going to be a slim chance to try and take that one, but UncleDJ with the nod win, as we often see. And those GDI tanks, they can be good, but I don't know. It feels like maybe the defense just wasn't quite there for CriticalMeds, and that will do it for this game. Let's jump into match number 2, which takes us to the map Quarry for our next game as the blue in the north. This is Rashnagar. Meanwhile, as the tan in the south, this is CampaignPlayer. Another GDI verse nod. No MCV moves right at the beginning. Last game, they did move their MCVs, at least partially for defensive reasons. And in this particular case, no MCV moves. Immediate deployment right into the attack helicopter for Rashnagar. And, well, we expect to see a delayed war factory from CampaignPlayer as well, if these guys are following a similar template. Infantry scouting. All right, Grenadier wins the fight in the north, but the attack helicopter is going to be here to even the score. Wah, wah. That one Grenadier not quite getting eliminated by that attack helicopter. 3 refineries up for CampaignPlayer and 3 refineries up for Rashnagar. No airstrip, no war factory just yet. 3 Grenadiers in the south spotted by Rashnagar. He's got pretty good scouting through the middle. CampaignPlayer also has pretty good scouting all throughout the map, so any attacks that come in should be seen relatively easily. Maybe a free kill on 2 different flamers? Maybe not. War factory is up for CampaignPlayer. No airstrip just yet, but sells off the helipad. Okay. So maybe a little bit of a less helicopter focus for Rashnagar than for UncleDJ. Airstrip gets added on into the middle. Decent-sized Tib field that you start on, and then getting away from it can be a bit of a decision. In this case, CampaignPlayer goes to the south. He's got good access to the second field here. Maybe going to be leaving this northern field for the late game. Couple of buggies on the left side. Going to be cleaning up these Grenadiers that the attack helicopter missed. 2 refineries in the north, 1 going for the middle of the map. All right, couple of attack buggies and 1 bike. All right, double refinery in the south for CampaignPlayer. Tank gonna just fire a couple of shots, but no real attempt made by Rashnagar to do any damage. Barracks gets deployed. Perhaps just delay tactics here. Money's starting to dry up, so the production is going to be slowing down perhaps for both players. That stage of the game where the economy kind of flatlines and things get a little bit awkward sometimes. 3rd refinery gets added on in the south. Rashnagar able to split between the middle of the map and his 3rd field. All right, 3 tanks on the left, 1 tank in the middle. A nice siloed off Tiberian field, so not much of an opportunity for harassment, unlike the last map, which had a bit more opening areas that you could navigate through. Silo expansion down to the south. This is going to be close quarters in the south for these 2 players. Eventually, when Rashnagar gets down there with his refinery. Hasn't gone for flame tanks yet. It's all bike buggy thus far for Rashnagar. Triple refinery. One of those going down could be a decent loss of income for CampaignPlayer. 2nd war factory gets added on for CampaignPlayer. No attacks elsewhere. It's just this one front, and there's going to be the double refinery from Rashnagar. So he's got that much going on for him. Main field getting low, but still healthy. Those drive times getting so long for those harvesters. All right, through the middle of the map. He's going to try and jump on one of the refineries. Going to be the crush of the Harvester that goes for the kill there. The defense from Rashnagar is just too good. Additional barracks gets added on, and it's more bikes, more buggies from Rashnagar. He's got the economy in the south. That feels like the game-winning move. Campaign players been pretty drained of resources for a little while now, and he has not been able to get out of that hole. Meanwhile, $3 grand in the bank for Rashnagar. Loses that refinery, but the middle map refinery, I feel like, is the least important. That's kind of the one that you don't really expect as much. We'll see if Rashnagar is able to shut down the middle of the map refinery from Campaign Player. He's going to be going for his side field as well. He's got the field in the south. He's actually been able to harvest a lot from that, despite the close proximity to Rashnagar. Defensive turret there, barracks as well, body blocking. Couple of bikes swinging through, couple of buggies rather, swinging through. Could commit to the attack, try and jump on that refinery and stop any expansion from coming up. Maybe he's just going to go for the Harvester. He indeed is. Rashnagar going to jump on the Harvester. Going to commit to the attack. Have to pull back at the end. Too many tanks for Rashnagar to commit to the attack fully. Still 4,500 in the bank for Rashnagar. Meanwhile, Campaign Player has been consistently draining his bank account every moment that goes by. His production, I think, has been a bit stilted because of it. Second refinery. All right, bike's going to come in for the recommit to the attack. More and more tanks are here. A couple of riflemen as well. They're going to get one Harvester, though. He's going to commit for it, and he's going to get the kill. Second Harvester is on the pad. Not an easy target, and the bike buggy pulls back. One kill there for Rashnagar. Hasn't gone for the middle of the map, though. Also, not trying to sneak any flame tanks by anywhere. Sometimes we see nod players actually try and sneak a couple of flame tanks wherever they think their opponent isn't looking. Try and go for a quick kill on a building. A couple of tanks moving in. Base crawling in with the barracks. Could be for a tower drop. No, turret comes up first from Rashnagar. Tanks commit to the attack, but there's more than enough bikes here. Another power plant gets added on. As soon as the bikes start attacking the buildings, that's where they might start losing the fight with the tanks. Mobilizing on the eastern front. Tank's going to have to try and... Okay, first guard tower gets deployed. No advanced guard tower, though. Meanwhile, in the north, tanks moving in, threatening Rashnagar in the north, and Campaign Player going to be able to target down that first turret. Could get the refinery after that, try and slow down the economy of Rashnagar. The bikes have held off one sort of tanks, but the second cohort is waiting. Tank's going to be able to clean up these bikes. Not enough turrets here from Rashnagar in the north, and not enough bikes. He is pulling reinforcements. 3 fresh bikes to the front line. Campaign Player is fighting on other fronts. He's completely cut off this southern expansion, and Rashnagar, I think, going to call it quits there. Campaign Player winning in the north, winning in the south. There was a big load of bikes in the middle, but this was going to be difficult to dislodge, and I think Campaign Player takes that one. GDI, and actually splitting the map. I feel like splitting the map like that, 3 different flanks or 3 different fronts, is more what we see nod players do. But in this case, Campaign Player winning out the low, slow game, and Rashnagar ending the game with 4,000 credits. But that'll do it for game number 2. Let's jump into game number 3, which takes us onto the map Elevation for the helicopter crash in the middle, and on the left side, playing the brown GDI once again. This is Campaign Player. And on the right side, playing the blue, this is Rashnagar. Both of these guys moving their MCVs for that bit of defense. At least Rashnagar has this complete little forest to block off that area of his MCV. I don't know, Campaign Player, I guess, between the 2 sides and the power plant, His MCV is pretty safe. It can really only be attacked from this kind of an angle there. A couple of grenadiers, couple of riflemen, couple of flame troopers moving through the map. There's the attack helicopter from Rashnagar. Openings looking pretty similar across all 3 games, across the 2 different sets of players. Grenadiers get the kill on the flamer, but of course the attack helicopter is here to get the kill on the grenadiers. Triple refinery up from CampaignPlayer. Triple refinery up from Rashnagar. Everyone hitting their stride. Rashnagar, we'll see, you know, this map, it's still a sort of a one... There's like 2 main attack lanes, north and south, but because you get spread out like this, and then they are most likely going to be also spreading out down to the south, maybe a quick pit stop in the middle. But as you spread out further, you are at least a little bit more open, and whereas on the last map it felt Quarry feels so much more closed off than Elevation. And Heavy Metal is definitely the most open of the 3, or at least it feels like the most open of the 3. Elevation does have a good number of choke points. One single flame unit does manage to sneak almost all the way through the GDI base. Grenadiers getting targeted down. Double refinery in the north for Rashnagar. Airstrip does get deployed in the middle of the map. War Factory is up in the north. So War Factory and Barracks both in the north for CampaignPlayer. And he's, as he expands south, he may add a second War Factory down in the south. Power plant getting targeted down. A nice kill there for CampaignPlayer. Forces the rebuild of the power plant. Going to be going for the base creep with the Tib silos. And that is refineries on both sides of the MCV for Rashnagar. Attack helicopter finds at least 1 grenadier. Might find a second one. Okay, there we go. He finally stopped moving. Couple of buggies cycling through. Gonna maybe clean up. They get only 1 grenadier, I think, there. And 1 buggy as well. 2 buggies going down. Grenadiers moving out in the north. Couple of tanks as well. CampaignPlayer going for the kill on the refinery. He may have overstayed his welcome. He might try and trade out against the bikes. Okay, yeah, he's going to try at least 1 bike. Does get pulled away. Nicely handled there by Rashnagar. A couple of free tanks for him. Nearly free. We'll see if the Grenadiers, can they get a kill? Yep, free tanks there for Rashnagar. Nicely done. CampaignPlayer has spread to the south, and Rashnagar has actually gone a little bit more for the middle. Maybe hoping to cut the map off a little bit sooner, get that middle of the map Tiberium first, and then save the back door for the late game. Gonna grab another tank. This might be 3 free tanks, or pretty close to 3 free tanks. Picks up a couple of Grenadiers, a couple of Riflemen on the kill as well. Attack helicopter comes in, and it's gonna be 3 tanks, which should be enough for the defense. They're spread out a little bit, so they're not all engaging, but in the south, it's just a couple of buggies. It's going to take them a while to work through anything. Maybe there were some bikes here as well, but they may have gotten cleaned up. Reinforcements going to be coming in. 3, 4 bikes, it looks like. Maybe an additional buggy as well. Grenadiers are being dealt with. Additional barracks gets deployed by CampaignPlayer. 1 bike swinging through the middle of the map, going right through CampaignPlayer's base, and now the Grenadiers have dried up. CampaignPlayer almost out of cash. He drops a tower, though. He might get a couple of bikes on the exit. Forces the sell-off of one of the refineries. Might as well get some of that cash back since you lost the Harvester, and that went well for Rashnagar. CampaignPlayer feeling a lot more controlled in that last game. Great splash damage here from Rashnagar. He sees the squad of Grenadiers moving out. They're going to be able to do good damage against this refinery. They might get it before the refuel happens. No buggies are responding. 4 buggies nearby, but they don't get sent in. Loses the refinery. And there's the splash damage killer on those Grenadiers. Second airstrip down in the south. Attack helicopter finds the mark. All right, Little bike buggy group in the north, little bike buggy group in the south. CampaignPlayer definitely feels stretched a bit more thin in this game. 5-6 tanks in the north. Are they going to try and dive on the power plants? No, they're going to trade it out against the tanks, going for the surround. They get at least one tank. This is much more of a trade than the other engagements have been. They don't even get the tank, just losing bike buggy. Rashnagar, that's sort of what happened to him in the last game, it feels like. He was able to make more progress in the early game. Guard towers are up in a couple of different locations. No easy kills for Rashnagar. Second refinery gets reestablished in the south. Rifleman going for the kill there. Buggies in the middle of the map from Rashnagar. Could be a big push in the south. There's a lot of tanks and a couple of grenadiers in the north. Rashnagar, I think, knows that. Maybe he's sensing the south might be easier to break, but it's going to be difficult no matter where he strikes. Second barracks, great body block position there for that barracks. CampaignPlayer playing this one out very nicely. The defense has been solid after those first couple of early game attacks from Rashnagar. He's been really tight-buttoned on the defense. Rashnagar, pretty consistent with this attack helicopter, has been thinning out the infantry. Tanks moving up to the north, trying to split his forces a little bit more. And it's going to be base crawling to the middle of the map for CampaignPlayer in the north. He's going to be able to either drop some advanced guard towers or just drop, I don't know, 2 refineries up there or something. Be able to harvest that field a little bit better. Attack helicopter in the north. Rashnagar has a decent chunk of forces in the south. He could try and counterattack, try and make something happen on a base trade kind of front. Barracks get deployed. Potential reinforcement point for these tanks. Third barracks gets deployed. CampaignPlayer getting close to being able to just drop base defenses right near Rashnagar. And it looks like the north has fallen. Rashnagar with a huge section of units in the south, and Obelisk as well. You don't always get to see an Obelisk in a match. Attack helicopter comes in. Tank's going to be trading out against the buggies, and it's going to be Rashnagar in the south, CampaignPlayer in the north. Both of them going to be potentially moving in here. Moving forward. Still just holding off units in the south. Tanks get turned around. One refinery gets deployed in the north. Biked and buggy going to jump on that Tib silo. Not able to take down the barracks just yet. Not able to totally stop the base creep. There's going to be an additional turret getting deployed. Buggy swings around the north side, but on accident gets deleted for it. Rashnagar holding off in the south, but it looks like in the north is where CampaignPlayer is putting most of his units. CampaignPlayer can't break the obelisk in the south as easily, but these turrets are starting to get pretty serious numbers. Bike Buggy is almost completely gone. Rashnagar feels like he probably is going to have to move at some point. 4 or 5 turrets in the north, 1 turret and kind of a little bit further south. And now CampaignPlayer may have actually finally broken through. The attack helicopter refuels once again, but Rashnagar moves out big time. Is he going to be able to actually initiate a full-on base trade here? Tanks still moving forward. 5 freshly reestablished turrets in the north there, still trying to hold the line with just base defenses pretty much. Obelisk finds a couple of shots there, and it's going to be a crumbling of the north from Rashnagar, but a crumbling of the south from CampaignPlayer. Finds a war factory. Rashnagar gets the kill, and CampaignPlayer just commits to the attack. I think he's hoping to kill the MCV or maybe go for the refineries in the middle there, but the bikes are actually in good enough numbers to trade out with the help of the turrets against the tanks, and there goes the MCV. It looks like it's taken down. Meanwhile, Rashnagar going for the war factory on the left, and CampaignPlayer hasn't broken through yet on the right. War factory goes down. Tanks getting overwhelmed, and Rashnagar may have done it. His just mass turret build in the north was enough to hold the line and keep CampaignPlayer off of his back. Those turrets bought him so much time in the north. Meanwhile, Bike Buggy still continues to run rampant on the left side of the map. CampaignPlayer with mass infantry, almost no tanks left. One tank literally left, and it's going to be up to the Rifleman and the Bike Buggy to clean out the infantry, and that is going to be it. rashnagar going to be able to take that last game from our perspective, taking revenge on CampaignPlayer, although they may have actually been played in the reverse order. But rashnagar takes game number 3, and that is going to do it for this GDI vs. Nod 3-game set. Thank you all very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, and this is Cyber signing out.